Welcome back. There is a live look outside from the Oregon coast. Looks pretty soggy out there right now. That's our Inn at Spanish Head Resort Hotel camera in Lincoln City. Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. The holidays mean food, friends, and family, but sometimes family can also mean friction. So here with tips on how to survive your family this holiday season, we welcome the authors of Boundary Badass, a powerful method for elevating your value and relationships, sisters Jan and Jillian Yuhas. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
You guys are probably experts on boundaries, being twin sisters, I would imagine.
Yes, we've had our early experience from the start.
So tell me about some ways we can set ourselves up for success this holiday season. I think a lot of people experience burnout. How do you avoid that happening?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times people feel like if they spend too much time with family, then their family starts giving them unsolicited advice or they start judging their lifestyle choices. And so this can start to create tension or friction in the air when we start to get too comfortable and spend too much time with family members, and we might need our own space.
Can you say that in a graceful way where your family will hopefully receive it well? Just say, hey, we're going to leave at XYZ time, or maybe not stay as long this time around.
Yeah, I think it's definitely saying, letting them know that you really enjoyed spending time with them, and let them know that you have maybe a prior commitment the next day or later that evening, so they know that you're not trying to offend them, but you're just really showing how you value that quality time with them, but you actually need to leave early. And then, like you said, you could always catch up with them at a later date or the next gathering as well.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Make sure you emphasize, I do value our time together, but we're a little busy. We're going to make everything work. Okay, how about gracefully steering conversations? Like you mentioned, people can kind of get into our business this time of year.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when people are trying to ask us very invasive questions, maybe about our romantic life, our careers, or even just things that we don't want to talk about per se, that are definitely private matters, you can just redirect the conversation and just stay like, this seems like a private matter. How about we find a topic that we can both relate to? And you can always suggest something like hobbies or travels, things that bring joy and meaning to your life. That way you're redirecting to a more positive conversation that's lighthearted too.
Is there a way to handle that even when you have somebody who just really won't let up? I mean, I think we all have maybe a family member or a loved one that we kind of know going in, they're not going to leave me alone on this topic. How am I going to get out of this?
So sometimes you can use discovery questions. We like to call them open-ended questions, and we put that question back on the person saying, can you share more about how come this is so important to you? And so we gain their perspective as to how come they're not letting up, and put it back on them to explain the behavior that we find to be offensive or uncomfortable, even if we've already set a boundary with them.
That's a great way to do it, and then it probably helps them reflect too, right? Like, why am I asking? Why am I so obsessed with this line of questioning? Okay, what about virtual connections, making that happen if you can at all? We have all these digital things at our disposal now.
Yeah, I think, if people can't travel due to budget or work, whatever the reason may be, often suggesting a 30-minute or 1 hour, coffee chat with your friends and family or whoever you're trying to connect with, and just let them know that, by setting that time in advance, you're letting you know how much you would like to say on the call, but then also provide 2 or 3 times that works for you for them to select from. So that way you're sort of creating this joint connection of when you're going to connect, and then you can share some holiday cheer. And if you don't want the conversation just on you, you can always invite other family members to those conversations too.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, what about setting some expectations around gift giving? That can be really stressful too.
Yes, gift giving can get out of hand, whether there's like competition about who can outdo each other, or maybe you have a really large family and it's not feasible to buy for everybody in the family. So one way to handle this is to draw names so everybody doesn't feel obligated to buy for every single family member. Or you can even suggest a meaningful experience that everybody contributes to, like a concert, or even say, let's not do gifts this year. What are your thoughts about if we just all go on like a family trip together? So there can be lots of ways to get out of gift giving, or to kind of divvy it up so it's not so much pressure or a financial strain on someone.
That's a great idea. And I think with all the things that we've talked about, it strikes me that just because you've done something a certain way in years past doesn't mean you can't make new traditions and move forward in ways that really serve everybody.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes are going to create new traditions as more family members enter the family dynamics, or if people's situations change too. You just get more creative and talk about how can we do this and still enjoy each other's company. Because at the end of the day, it's really about spending time with loved ones during the holiday season.
That's what it's all about. Thank you both so much for being here. It was great chatting with you.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.